Hey guys, welcome back to Little Big Opinions. I'm Big.
And I'm Little.
And as always, we have producer Mark in the building. He is off microphone right now. But we got some big news. We have friend of the show, Alex Lorenzo, joining us all the way from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Alex, how you doing, sir?
Doing great. Excited to be on the show. New setup. Loving the couch situation.
Yeah, so right now we, I'm going to say we got booted from the studio for the night, so we had to come up to Pinecrest Performance Golf, right? Where if you want to get your golf game better, this is what we do here. I think the setup works perfectly. It is Masters Week, so the golf thing kind of works.
Why did we get booted?
If you guys want burgers, there's a new food truck at Casa Cultura on 67th Avenue and 18th Street in West Miami, guys. Go check it out, Casa Cultura. They're more than just a podcast studio. They do it all.
Everything plays, everything. But here's the thing. I'm going to brand new, off the cuff, having to discuss this with you guys. We are going to do an LBO food review around Miami, okay? And we are going to review the best sandwiches in Miami. And we are going to start off with the spot over there at Casa Cultura. I forgot the name. But, Alex, they got a chopped cheese. Now, have you ever had a chopped cheese before?
I have. Yeah, I have had a chopped cheese before.
I've never had one before. It's very similar to a Philly cheesesteak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is the best thing that you have had in the last month, food-wise?
Oh, man, honestly, it's got to be the dinner I had probably about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
A nice little Osteria place here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Some garlic grilled oysters. A nice little grouper over lobster risotto. Yeah, over lobster risotto. Yeah, so it's got to be. I'm going very recency bias here, but that's got to be it.
Yeah. And that's per diem. That's taking care of that, or this is you.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So the last time we had Alex on, he was a guest. He was part of the fan experience. Today, he's part of the show.
First fan experience.
First fan experience. Today, he's part of the show. So Alex, if you don't remember, is a baseball scout, but we put him to work for LBO, and he's going to be a football scout for us because this is not what we do. It's what he does. So here we are. We're excited to have you here. You brought up oysters. I have to bring up the Lazy Oyster since you talked about it. A local place here in Miami that if you got to get oysters, you got to go Lazy Oyster.
That's fine. It sounds like you're related to the person at the Lazy Oyster.
Possibly.
But nonetheless, folks, we are here today because it's a very important time in the NFL schedule. We have the NFL draft 2 weeks away. The Miami Dolphins have 7 picks in the first 100 picks. We are very excited, and we have our scout here. One of the best, knows football in and out, knows baseball in and out, and he's brought his own big board.
Yeah, now, we're going to get into that big board.
You guys printed it out. And
we got some questionable
pretty
things
impressive stuff here. How do you go about putting your big board together? Walk us through that.
I'm going to be very honest with you. That ranking is just all like PFF has a download a CSV option. So I just did that, and then I go through each name, watch some YouTube, do very much like, hey, I like this guy. This looks right, and that's the end of my scouting. I can't say that I put as much. I don't put as much depth as I do into my baseball reports.
I hope not. You clearly don't watch TV though, because if you're not scouting for baseball and watching videos there, you're scouting football players. So
absolutely, yeah.
So no
I'm a
TV.
baseball scout for work. I'm a football scout at heart. That's how I'll delineate that.
Now, but we're not going to sugarcoat this, folks. This guy knows what he's talking about. Alex, you got to pump it up a little bit because we want people to understand that you are an expert. Okay, what LBO comes with. LBO is the reason why Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer got fired this year.
I don't know if you heard.
And we know for a fact that the Dolphins watch this podcast because things are happening right now. We know that Sully and Haf are going to be watching this. So we are going to come up with a mock draft at the end of the show. We're going to do it live. We're going to deliberate. We're going to do our own little war room. We're going to get Mark in here as well, for the vibes. And we are going to take that on. But first, so we haven't spoken to you since the new regime came on board. Sully and Haf, what are your thoughts? How are you feeling as a Dolphin fan?
As a scout, it's hard to not be excited. I think funny enough, he gets hired the day after the Miami Hurricanes win against Ole Miss in Arizona. So I was driving back with a Dolphins buddy of mine from Arizona to Los Angeles, listening to. He's a football junkie just like me, so we were listening to all of like Hafley's and John Eric Sullivan's like podcasts or interviews or anything, press conferences, anything that he did with the Packers. And we were just crushing that the whole way back. So for me, who's been in baseball for 10 seasons now, which is crazy to say, and as a scout for 5, I mean, Sully, I think I might be mistaken, spent I think 10 years as a pro scout before becoming director of pro scouting and working his way up the front office. So I think from that aspect, you just have to respect it, right? I think that's like right out of the gate. That's just a pure evaluator, right? Which is the name of the game. I think that's immediately going to, have a massive change in the development, especially when it comes to the draft guys. And then you look at that management of not only the quarterback position, which has been more elite than almost, I think, probably anybody. You have 3 quarterbacks in 30 years, and all 3 of them have been great. So that already is something very interesting for us Dolphins fans who have struggled for 20 plus years to find the guy. And then you kind of go down the list of wide receivers, defensive tackles, defensive backs, safeties, and they've just consistently drafted impact players and guys that come in on day one, even 4th, 5th round picks that come in and play, early, middle of the season and make an impact. So from that aspect, I'm very excited. From the pure evaluation tool, very excited. Hafley don't have a ton of experience or knowledge of it other than just what I've listened to in the last couple months since he's been hired, but it's hard, it's hard not to get excited over defensive led head coaches. I think the offensive guys they're like the sexy hires, but the defensive head coaches are guys that are going to keep, I think at the very minimum, like 8 wins on the table every season, right? Those guys are always going to keep the defense locked in. And if there's, offensive upside, then that's where you can kind of get to the playoffs and be a perennial contender.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't know what to expect going into this offseason and going into next season, but every week I just get more and more excited. Everything that they say, everything that they've done, it's just common sense things. Like it doesn't have to be this difficult. We keep saying that, and it seems like they're doing it. And Hafley, by the way, the reason why I just keep falling in love with him is because he keeps the narrative, which is, I can say whatever I want now, guys, and you're gonna think it's great. It means nothing, and that means he knows what he needs to do. He needs to go in there. He needs to clean house. He needs to put those players to work, and the outcomes will speak for themselves. And that's all you want. We don't have to hear the glitz and the glamour. It's not about the Lamborghinis in South Beach. It's about the hard-nosed football team that we're about to have. And if you can't tell, I'm pumped up.
I was going to go there and say you're pumped up because you got that Dolphins fan delusion that always sets in. But I agree with you guys. When Mike McDaniel came on board, we were pumped up. Adam Gase were pumped up. Flores. But these guys come from a different.
Flores, we were in Colombia, and I was like, "Who the hell is Flores?"
What were you doing in Colombia?
We were on a bachelor party.
Okay. We're not going to talk about that on air. But settling in, as Alex mentioned, coming from the Packers, and what do the Packers do? The Packers don't build through free agency, which is something that the Dolphins have been trying to do. Opening up the pocketbooks and going to get that player. They draft people. They develop them. That is something that has not been part of this organization for a very long time. And now you have John Eric Sullivan, a scout, as you mentioned, at heart. 7 picks in the first 94 picks going into this draft. If you are a first-time general manager, how awesome is that for you to have this war chest full of picks to go and in a deep draft like this with depth, go and get starters. That's what we need. We need starters right now at the cheap. This is what we do. Guys, we can draft some future Ring of Honor guys. Let's think about that. Future Ring of Honor guys could happen because now we have somebody at the helm that can do it.
Right. That's what they made their money on, as to your point. The other thing that he said was, which got me excited, because in the press conference that we got to go to as season ticket holders, he said, I have 8 picks. I need to make 13, something of the sort. He's obviously made more picks, but recently he's been saying, I don't get paid to get picks. I get paid to get those picks right. So again, I'm excited because he gets it. But before we get to that, before we get to the draft, which I know that's why everyone's here, we have one more huge question to ask you. What is your thought on Malik Willis? Did you like the move? Didn't like the move?
I got more excited when I saw that it was a 3-year deal. his and it's also it's funny enough that it was a Packers team as well. But I don't know if you guys remember the free agency of Matt Flynn, the quarterback coming out of Green
Yep.
Bay that got a ton of money, and he had like one good year and then kind of sputtered out, right? So like that late season backup quarterback that comes in and turns it on and and gets the big free agency money, that's always very risky, right? But two unique factors, and one that's talked about almost ad nauseum, is these guys saw him every day, right? So if you're gonna make a decision on that kind of guy, you would have liked to have seen him not just every day, but every day for the last 2 seasons, right? So I'm sure they saw who came in as the ex-Titans quarterback and who's coming out as the now new Dolphins quarterback, right? There's probably a very long and very effective development path that Malik has taken to get to the point where, hey, we're not just going to give you a 1-year deal. If we win 2 games and we get the first pick, we pick another quarterback and we're right back to square one. I mean, they gave him a 3-year deal to win games. That's my hope. Biasedly and unbiasedly as a Dolphins fan, I'm hoping that the 3-year deal is like hey, like we want to build it up in year 1, win a few games. Hopefully we make the playoffs if we get really lucky. And then just add on to that next year. And you have, like I said, you restock the picks right after, and you can build a consistent winner even in year 2 or 3 of your free agency quarterback, while drafting a young guy, hopefully in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round that comes right under it, and you kind of grow and develop that position as well, without having to just throw your entire war chest at the number 1 overall pick, which, as we've seen in the past, you can only get so many Burrows and Herberts. There's going to be Zach Wilsons and those guys in there as well that are going to, make you look stupid.
Yeah. And to your point on the Matt Flynn point, we got Joe Philbin as our coach that year. And I guess the one thing that you would say that he got right was he didn't ask for Matt Flynn. So he saw Matt Flynn every day, said, I'm not going to do it. And Flynn didn't even start a game because we all know what happened with Russell Wilson. So, again, to your point, it makes sense. They see him every day. We need a competition. They've said it, yes, Malik Willis will be the day 1 guy out there in training camp, but he's not for sure the starter, that Quinn Ewers will have a chance to outwork him. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now,
that sounds like media politics to me. I think it's foregone conclusion Malik is going to start. But if you can have Quinn battle with whoever you draft in the 4th, 5th round, that makes the position very interesting.
Well, I'm going to say one thing here. We all expect him to draft a quarterback still. I would think that he's going to draft a quarterback this year. If not this year, for sure next. And if that guy looks like he's lighting it up and he's not the starter, then Little over here is going to get upset again.
Okay, here we go.
But we're going to talk about the draft, okay?
Well, let's talk about first, what do we need? What does this Dolphins team need? What are the major needs of this draft, of this organization right now? Let's go around the room. Alex, biggest need in your mind for the Miami Dolphins?
Need, I think, defensive back. I think you have to start there. I think you look at the Packers and the Seahawks and their defensive tackle, their defense gets a lot of praise, but you look at how those guys cover on the edges, and it's hard to win whether you're in perfect weather or you're snowed out in New England. You have to be able to cover, especially on the boundary. You see guys like Christian Gonzalez and the guys that Seahawks have. You got to be able to do that, especially whether you're physical, whether you're man, press, zone, whatever it is. Those guys have to be able to cover, and I think that's like our biggest hole right now. I think that's our biggest need, to answer your question.
Chris?
All right.
Well, let's talk about real quick. Sorry, Chris.
This guy, I mean,
I'm sorry, but can you name 2 defensive backs on our team right now?
Yeah, we have Storm Duck, and we have Marshall. I can't think of his first name.
Jason Marshall.
We have Brent.
Juju
Brents.
We got Dante Trader. We got Daryl Baker from Tennessee, who's our left cornerback, and our free safety right now is Lonnie Johnson from Las Vegas, Zane Anderson from Green Bay, Marco Wilson from Cincinnati. So it just shows you these are not household names right now. There's not a lot of depth at the cornerback room or the DB room right now. I agree.
So you agree?
I agree with my man here. Who do you?
Well,
how about yourself?
I'm going to take it a little bit different. The scout might not agree with me here, but this is what I'm going to tell you. There are a bunch of holes in this entire roster, okay? Mm-hmm. And we can't build by, kind of plugging in holes here and here, but we can build if we make something a strength, okay? And we still have holes in the offensive line, okay? Hafley said, Okay, check out this quote. I think when you're going to start paying players that are going to be touching the ball 25 to 30 times a game, that makes more sense than paying a guy that on a good day touches it 7. He wants to run the ball. We have Devon Achane. All indications is Devon Achane is about to get a contract.
Hell yeah.
We have a
stud.
Okay offensive line that maybe it's going to be okay, but if we can shore that up, offensive guard is still a humongous hole, and so is right tackle. So for me, everything they've said has made sense. They said they're going to run the ball. They say that they want to build through the trenches. I still think offensive guard is a humongous need.
Your right guard. Or you're even
left,
talking about
right tackle.
Jonah.
Austin Jackson. Are we really going to sit here and say that Austin Jackson is our guy for sure?
He's always hurt.
If you watch the Green Bay Packers, if you watch Malik Willis when he was in, he had a great line. We got to build the line for Malik Willis to be able to extend plays a little bit and make magic happen, and for Devon Achane to run through these gaping holes because he can score on any touch. So why are we not going to create a monster strength of our team with the first pick that we have in 11? So that's what I'm saying. Instead of trying to, one corner is not going to do anything for us.
That's a start.
But a solid offensive line is going to change the whole dynamic to your offense and possibly make it your strength of your team.
When we go through the draft, it's going to be very interesting because we all know who we want, right? And we'll see who Alex wants. But now let's talk about 2 other positions. You need an edge rusher right now. You only got Chop Robinson and Josh Uche, Columbus alumni.
This guy likes to talk about Columbus every chance he gets.
Every time, brother. Every time.
So if you want to throw out Belen at any time, you can just go ahead and do it. Okay?
Men for others.
I don't know if we have the pro caliber athletes to be able to do that. So I'll let Columbus have their win right now.
I get it, but it's just this guy got to take the Letterman off already at some point.
The funny thing is I never got a Letterman. I didn't play any sports. I was too fat. But we'll get into that another time.
Although I'm still going to claim Fernando and Bryce Fitzgerald as Belen Jesuit.
Hey, absolutely.
The Bryce Fitzgerald one that you can. The Fernando, I don't know. After 8th grade he left, dude. He didn't start at all in high school. There.
Hey man, it counts. It shows up on the ledger. It counts.
Can we talk about this real quick? Fernando Mendoza not going to NFL draft. Quick reaction to that.
I don't want to
off the cuff. Just say it.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the reason why I think he picked it, but that's a once in a lifetime opportunity that only a few people can get. And I know why he turned it down, but I don't know if I could turn that down.
Alex?
Not going to the draft. I mean, he's going to be home and he's going to have his entire family, all his coaching staffs, all his players, everybody that was with him from Belen to Columbus to Indiana. They're all going to be down there. So, I mean, I don't blame him for it, honestly, but I think I'd rather have the video of me with my family getting picked number 1 overall.
I get goosebumps.
Than be on the stage with the jersey, with Roger Goodell, who you'll probably see 3 times in your entire career.
How many people get to be the first overall pick of the NFL draft and have that moment? It's
1 every year.
Not many, but I'll say this, and I forgot why I had a man crush on you last time that we met because I agree with all your points. Pittsburgh. Would I rather go to Pittsburgh, Mark, and go to the NFL draft, or I can be in Miami con mi familia, eating la carreta, you go to Playmates after to celebrate or Tootsies? I mean, come on. He has to get used to it because he's going to the Raiders. He's going to Las Vegas, so he's got to get a little bit of sin in him.
Have you seen this guy
a little bit of sin
dress
in him.
up on a Friday night or Saturday night? He always overdresses to dinner, and he looks great. He looks phenomenal. So if this guy had an opportunity to get a badass suit with a nice haircut and be pintado ahí, he'd be there.
No, for sure. I'm
a
glory hog. You know that, but I'm not Fernando Mendoza. Okay. And this is
Miami,
the 305.
You would tell me some shit like, "Oh, that's Dan Marino's home. It's meant to be. I gotta be out there." Something like that.
Yeah, but I would. But I wouldn't be a quarterback. I'd probably be a pulling guard or a center.
You wouldn't be first overall. You got to play the whole game, dude.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. But what do we need? We need wide receivers. We got no wide receivers right now. We got Tutu Atwell, good player. Jalen Tolbert, good player. Malik Washington, Theo Weiss. But obviously we need size, right? They talked about all getting bigger at the position, and then they went out and got, smaller guys. So you have to think that wide receiver, if there's a big body wide receiver, and there's a couple of really good ones this year, 3 or 4 or 5 of them, that wide receiver is also a huge need right now, just like the cornerback room. But I think it's a little bit less than the cornerback room or the DB room.
So I feel like I'm reading a little less into that, even though that's my preference. And like I mentioned on the first episode, Coach Altieri was the first one to break the Brandon Marshall to the Dolphins news for me. So Brandon Marshall has my heart as a Dolphins fan. That's my guy. So big wide receivers that's what I like to draft or sign or whenever we get the chance. But if you really look at the history, I mean, Christian Watson's like 6'3", 6'4", but you look at Romeo Doubs, you look at Matthew Golden, you look at these guys, and yeah, they have speed profiles, but a lot of these guys are like 6'2", 6'3"-ish, which is still tall, but they're in the 6'1" to 6'3" range, and they're very like shifty. Maybe not all of them are 80 grade burners with plus speed, but they're all very good in space, and they can run routes at an above average level, which I think you'll see reflected on kind of my big board of like guys that have speed but have a little bit of physicality and feel in space as wide receivers, rather than just like one trick ponies, which as much as it kind of hurt to see him go, I understood why. Waddle was that. Waddle wasn't a very good middle of the field player unless you got him in stride going like he did in the Falcons game and a couple other times. But when that cover 2 play the entire game, when that trend happened about 2-3 years ago, that's when you saw kind of Waddle and Toole's relationship kind of go down a little bit in terms of performance, because when you have just that one trick and you can't really operate in the middle of the field or outside the hashes, it's hard for those speed guys to really do it. Whereas you see Puka, he can tear up any defense he wants,
Breaking
even though
tackles.
he's got probably average speed really in terms of relative to the position. But that guy just gets open. So he's got that kind of feel in space. So I think that's what they end up going for more, rather than like, let's just get the guy that's 6'4" with a big radius. Let's actually go for the guys that know how to play the receiver position and play in space.
The guy that I think fits that whole description to a T is Carnell Tate. He is fluid. He is a stud. He comes from Ohio State, 6'3". He's a big body, but he is just a player. Now, he's not a burner, but you don't need a burner. He ran a 4.53. You know who also ran a 4.5? Devontae Adams, T. Higgins. Big players, bigger players. That is somebody who I'm very excited at number 11, because there's potentially one of these studs is going to drop there. So,
which is funny enough. Okay, so how are we doing this? We're talking about positions wise, or we're going to go to pick 11. What do you want to talk about?
You run it.
All right,
Tell
so
me.
let's go ahead and just stick with the receivers for a second, because you did leave Carnell Tate off of your big board. So he's not there. And the funny thing is, in mock drafts, I would say that Carnell Tate lately has been there and the Dolphins picking him. I think he just said that he likes him a lot. I think I agree with you on this one. I think he wouldn't be on my big board either. But why did you leave him off?
So when you look at the big board isn't just like all the guys I like. I tried to keep it to like, okay, these are 5 guys that I actually think if the pick is there and they're available, this is the priority list we go through, right? I'm not sure Tate gets to 11. He might. There's a very good chance he does. But 2 things on Tate. I think he's the best athlete of the receiver class. I think by far. I think it's like you watch him play, for the regular season, I think he's the best athlete in the wide receiver class. Biasly, you watch the game against the Canes, there was a lot of, Ted Ganitis that he had going on during that game, where it's like, I don't want to go inside the hashes. I don't want to match up with Keontae Scott and Jacoby Thomas. I don't want to get hit in the ribs, and I don't want to go over the middle, right? So, like, it's good to have that size, but if you have that size and you don't want to make contested catches, then what's the size for, right? Like, so there's that game I think threw me off. I forgot who they were playing against, but he had just one play over the middle into the end zone where he just jumped over 2 defenders, and I'm like, that's the number 1 receiver in the draft, like, no question. But then you start kind of digging in and peeling back the layers of the physicality question. And again, maybe you end up looking stupid 2 years from now where, he gets a little bigger and he's not afraid to go over the middle. But at least from that game against the Hurricanes, which we all saw probably every play of, there is a physicality question to his profile and the way he plays.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 6'3", 192 pounds. It's the muscle, I mean, the build is not there. Somebody that is interesting at the wide receiver is
build is not there.
Yeah, well, 192. He's not a big physical guy.
Isn't he 6'3"?
I understand, but I'm talking about his His strength. The strength is not
His
there.
build, his frame.
His frame. Sorry.
He knows
Okay.
about frames.
Thank you. Oh, you have a microphone.
I got it now. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Makai Lemon is somebody that is very interesting because he is a shorter guy, 5'11", but he is a guy that goes down up through the middle, is not scared, is a playmaker, making plays, can break tackles at his size. He's a very interesting guy there too. But did you guys see how he was responding like on these his interviews and his combine?
That was the big thing about him.
Was he trying to slip down or was he high? What was that? He was like a Rico Suave. He was like, "Hey, what's up, baby?" You know, like I was on AIM. You know how I used to talk to chicks on AIM.
Yeah, I didn't see it at all. So I don't know, Alex, if you have any take on that, but
I think it's funny. I mean, I think you maybe look into it and see like, hey, is there a longer rope that we're pulling here where it's like, okay, let's peel back the layers, like I mentioned. And like, if you go back to USC and there's issues with that, then maybe it is a thing. But I don't know. I mean, if you look at the content of what he was talking about, he was like, I find myself in the mold of Amon-Ra St. Brown and those guys. Don't get me wrong. The video comes off and you're like, what am I watching here? But I mean, you see that if you toss it to the side and you really kind of watch, you know, I'm not a tape grinder by any means, and I'm not an expert like you guys say, but if you just watch him play, I mean, that's for me, pound for pound, the best receiver in the class.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Like, if you want a guy to come in and do, I mean, kind of what Waddle did, like come in year one, 1,000 yards, that's your guy. You know, not the fastest runner or, you know, not the tallest receiver, but I think that's the best hands, like pound for pound receiver in the draft.
Yeah, he's a dog, and you brought up a good name comp, Amon-Ra St. Brown, smaller guy coming out of USC, but is an absolute dog and a player, and will go up the middle and make those big plays. Now, that is somebody that you need December, January football in those cold weathers. So that was the toughness coming in. That will be a very interesting. I think he's going to be there at 11. I would think.
Yeah, he's one
definitely.
of the highest guys also mocked to us. He will not. Most likely won't be there at 30. So if you want him, you're going to have to take him. And if, to your point, if you think that Tate's not going to be there at 11, then the next guy off the board would be probably 11 because he is, to your point, what you said. If you just look at the tape, he's the guy that looks the best, right? He's the true number one out of these guys that can get open, make any play, run after catch, the whole thing. He's just small. So that's the one thing that your point already about Green Bay and what Sullivan said, because we're going to pay attention to what he said. We need to get bigger in that room. This guy doesn't really make that happen. And again, we'll talk about one more receiver here at 11, but I don't think he fits the mold either. They don't take first-round wide receivers. The first time they did it was Golden, and he's actually small. But how about Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State? He's another guy who has all the tools, who looks the best, makes great catches up in the air, finds the ball, catches it. What's your take on Jordan Tyson? I don't think he's on your big board either.
It's one of the few profiles where like not that I downplay it, but like injury history is very, it's very relative, right? I think it depends on the injury, depends on the kind of injuries, depends on if they're freak injuries or not, of course. But he's one of the few where you read into the profile and you kind of get a little concerned with the injury history. It's like a lot of soft tissue stuff. Obviously, Chris, you could talk about that, but like it's a lot of soft tissue stuff. Continue like when it kind of gets physical, it seems like that's when he gets hurt. That's probably my only concern with the profile, but he's right there, if not right behind Carnell Tate in terms of like pure athlete. I mean, you see some of the plays he makes. He's, you know, him and Tate are better athletes than Makai, but Makai's a better wide receiver than both of those guys. That's kind of where I have, you know, those three kind of.
He was hurt in high school. He's been hurt in college. He was hurt last year. No, thank you.
Yeah,
right?
great player,
See you
but
later.
no thank you. That we've done that the last 10, 15 years. We don't need that
There's
anymore.
other guys that you don't have to have that risk. I'd rather – I don't want a receiver 11, but if you took one, you took him versus taking Lemon, I'd probably be – I'd go back to being depressed. I'd probably put my suit back on. We'd have a funeral already for him after the first pick of his career.
I wouldn't take a receiver at number 11 at all, to be quite – I think there's 4 other players that are for sure going to be there, whether we're reaching or not, that I think are more of a priority. And you wait for 2027 and Jeremiah Smith and, you know, Cam Coleman will be there, hopefully. So those are your boys.
Who's the second guy that you mentioned?
Cam Coleman, he's at Texas now. He was at Auburn the year before.
Okay.
He's also a monster, among other guys too.
Okay, before we get into the mock draft, we have players that are on the thumbnail here that are dreams for us that would drop.
Our number one. So our number one, they dropped, right?
Okay.
My number one, even though I said offensive line, would be Caleb Downs. No question. That guy's there. That's the guy that I want number one. You?
Ruben Bain. I have a 1A and a 1B. I don't want to take his though. But Ruben Bain or Francis Mauigoa, I've been talking about it for a very long time now. It's not just the UM bias, which is definitely there, but these are two guys I think that are can't miss guys, especially Francis Mauigoa. That's the guy him and Bain, if they're there, that's who I want. How about you?
If they're both there, I know I have it prioritized backwards, but I was just kind of going in order.
Well, you could do anybody, like Sonny Styles. He could be like, you're playing the game however you want, besides Fernando Mendoza. That's not fair because that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd have to go Downs, to be very honest with you. I don't think I didn't put Downs in that pocket of 5 because I don't think he gets there. But if he does get there, I have him over all those guys, definitely. I think it would be close between you sit there and you're like, what do we really need? And I think you look at the way like Juju Branson, maybe some of those guys played. Those guys are not, I think, in the space that Caleb Downs is, but you make an assessment of where the room is at, especially after OTAs the mini camp that we have going on now. And then you figure out where the real need is. I think it's close between him, Bain, and Mauigoa. It just so happens, I'm with you too with the Canes bias, but it just so happens that both of those guys are at the top of their positions. So, it worked out pretty well for that the 2001 UM class, right? Those guys were taken all in the first round, and those all became great. So you can't knock them because they got the U on their helmet. So I think it's close between those three, but if he's there, Downs is the pick, I think, for sure.
You brought it up earlier. It's you take Caleb Downs, and that's a defensive that's a changer, right? That's somebody you can build around. Yeah. I think all three of these guys you can really build around, but Caleb Downs has that star factor. He's a very intelligent, high football IQ guy, good locker room dude, good human being, comes from a fantastic programs, played in big games. He checks all the boxes.
Yeah, my only thing with Bain, the reason why he wouldn't be number one for me is I think he's going to be a great NFL player, no doubt about it. I truly believe that his motor is unlike most people. You have I compare him to Ingram the most from South Carolina days when he went to the Chargers. We got drafted by the Chargers. Melvin Ingram, very similar build. I think next to Zeeler, he's going to be great because them two together will be smart and be able to play. I think he'd make someone like Chop Robinson a little bit better because he's free to just run the passer, doesn't have to worry about anything else. But I don't know if he's going to have huge amount of sacks. And if you're drafting that guy that high, I want a little bit more sacks. And if you can get a guy like Caleb Downs who's going to change your defense completely, if you can get Mauigoa who's going to change your offensive line, exactly what I talked about, right guard to right tackle eventually. If not, he's going to be a Pro Bowl guard, and then you're going to open up that strength. I would take one of those two guys ahead of Bain. It's hard to say that it really is, but if he's dropping, there's a reason why. And I think it's because he's not going to give you the sacks that you're looking for.
I think he eats it. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
No. All you.
No, I just feel that he makes the people around him better, which is something I want on that defensive line. And I'm a huge high character guy. After what's going on the last 5 years in this locker room and the culture change, that's the type of person that I want leading the fold. A Francis Mauigoa, but Ruben Bain and a Caleb Downs. Those are the type of players I want that are difference makers on the field, but more importantly, off the field as well.
Yeah. I think with Bain, you look at, and Chris is right, but I think from a sacks perspective, you look at the way the Canes were like game planned against, and you saw how clearly it was that you would rather take the Akeem Messidor matchup, which is no slight to him, than the Bain matchup. So Bain gets left on the outside kind of stopping the run, which he did arguably better than any defender, right? I think, let me make sure I'm getting the name right here. David Bailey was probably the best pass rusher in the draft. But I think in terms of like, who's the best edge that stopped the run? It's Bain, and it's not even close. I think like we're going to run away from this guy. and he's still getting on the other side of the center into the B and C gaps of the other side to stop the run. So
He's the best
I think
defensive lineman in the draft.
I think from that perspective, yeah, I think that from that perspective, yeah, absolutely. So when you frame it like that, especially in the college football playoff, I mean, they were like, we want nothing to do with Bain. And even in the national championship game, he was getting into the backfield and stopping the running backs and Indiana's run game. So I think when you get to the NFL, there's going to be a year of like, let me get used to this level of competition. But when hopefully you have a Chop and a Josh Uche or, hopefully another defensive end or defensive tackle that's going to take the pressure off where it's like, okay, Bain is not as much of a threat at the NFL level. Let's make sure we worry about everybody else. I think there's a very sneaky chance that if he's drafted by the Dolphins, he'll be either at the top or leading the Dolphins in sacks because he won't be the priority game plan from the offensive standpoint. And that's going to leave him rather than Chop, which I think if you're grading both guys out, I'm pretty sure Bain probably comes out ahead in terms of like pure pass rush ability. I think Bain ends up being the more of the quarterback threat than we think he is.
Well, hopefully we get a chance to see it because I would be very excited. I think we could all be very excited if he's not there. So at 11, we'll get into Maui Noah. You have three guys that you would want as an offensive line at 11. You have Maui Noah, you have Fano, and then you have
Lone.
Lone. So what? Tell us a little bit about them. Let's start with the guy Maui Noah. I think the more time that goes by, I think he's going to end up being our pick. I don't want to jinx it, but
I hope so as well. I think it just goes to what you talked about earlier. Like you immediately get a day one. He's like the Caleb Downs of the offensive side of the ball. You draft him and he's your immediate right tackle, and you don't even have to worry about that position for the next 8 years, hopefully. If you figure it out contractually, you're good for the rest of it. And then now you just work your way back the other way where you go to right guard, center, we're good, which I'm pretty sure I was very high on Aaron Brewer and Patrick Paul in our first episode last year before the season. So I'm definitely going to, give myself a little praise there.
There you go.
But yeah, Austin Jackson, you gotta.
By the way, just so that you know, when that happens on our show, you got to go, Amy. That means you were right. Me, Amy.
We haven't had that in a while.
I mean, Pat Paul was easy. We had a good offensive line coach, and he's 6'7". I mean, like things are going to work out, I think Brewer just goes undervalued in the league in general, but yeah, he's one of the better centers in the NFL. And we got really lucky, bringing him in. So I think the guard positions, assuming you get to 11, Maui Noah puts the Dolphins jersey on, I think the guard position now becomes your main focus, and hopefully you can supplement that through, the back end or even the middle of the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if we go tackle and guard first 2 picks, which I know is a little crazy, but because you have 7 in the top 100, it gives you a little wiggle room to go for more skill guys down the road if you want.
There's talks about kicking him inside to guard. Now,
I think
Laramie Tunsil kicked inside to guard for his first year and then went to the outside. It did wonders for him. I wouldn't be surprised by it or
completely okay. They kept
having Jackson on the side on the end,
now, and then so that would be the plan. Would Fano fit that same bill?
I think I don't know if Fano has I don't know if he has as much guard. I mean, again, look, I'm not an NFL scout, but this is just very general
just information gathering. That way, the next time you come on, you can say, "Me, Amy, just do it, dude. Fake it till you make it."
I think
we know what we're talking about. Come on,
chill, man. Chill.
This sounds a little. I think Fano has higher tackle upside, whereas Maui Noah can play either one. Whereas I don't think Fano has as much upside at the guard position than Maui Noah does. I think Maui Noah can do both, and you're going to get an above average, possibly elite player at either position. Whereas Fano is like, he comes in, he's very likely, like 80% projection into a tackle.
Yeah, he's a technician, is what they're saying. High IQ, smart football player, good footwork, balanced, just a sure, right tackle that can come in and immediately fill a need, and you would have your bookends for a very long time. So, all right, there's enough talk. Let's get to the creme de la creme. Let's do a mock draft. Sure. Very excited about this. We're going to do the first 3 rounds, 7 picks in the first 94. We got plenty of things to work with. So Chris is going to run the show here, and he's going to explain to us.
All right, so we're going to start the draft. And
who's been taken?
Right off the bat, we've taken – hold on. Oh.
No traits.
On cue. So Mendoza, Reese, Bailey, Bain, Love, Downs, Styles, Delane, Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon,
Ooh.
which leaves
Maui Noah.
Wow.
Maui Noah. I think we got to make that
Yeah.
pick. Correct. We're running to the board. We're not even sad about this. We are ecstatic. All right.
Yeah.
Do I have to list all these guys now too at our 30 pick?
Yeah,
From draft day, Maui Noah, no matter what.
Yeah,
Exactly. So,
yeah. Put the post-it note in your pocket. Can you just explain? Listen, this is the first round. Can we find out who went after us?
all right.
Please.
So
Number 12.
So after Maui Noah, Jermon McCoy,
To
Ty
the Cowboys.
Yep, to the Cowboys. Ty Simpson to the Rams.
Oh,
I don't know about that. Jordan Tyson to the Ravens. They would pick that. They don't know how to pick that. For all the good that they do, they don't know how to pick receivers.
Injury-prone wide receiver in Baltimore. That's not a good.
Lone there, Fano there, McNeil Warren, which is very mocked at 30 to us recently.
to who?
To the Lions, and the Vikings pick Freeling. Panthers pick Sadiq, which would be another tight end. Cowboys take Proctor. Steelers take Theinman, which is another guy at 30 for us.
Oh, wow.
22, Mesidor. 23
To who?
to the Chargers.
Oh,
23 Eagles taking Casey Concepcion, another guy that people are thinking are at 30. Browns, Cassius Howell. Bears to take Terrell. Bills to take Falk. 49ers take Zion Young. Texans take Caleb Banks. The Chiefs take Colton Hood, which would have been a great pick for us here.
Yeah.
So now we're up and we're going to be left with a lot of good receivers. Top board based on ESPNanalytics.com. We have Denzel Boston, who's on your list, pretty sure. Omar Cooper Jr., Caden McDonald, Peter Woods, Caleb Lemieux, Chase Biazantis. I'm not even going to try. So here we are. I wouldn't.
all right. So let's talk this through.
Yeah.
Cornerbacks. Who's the best cornerback? Give me 2 or 3 cornerbacks there. Let's talk about that first.
Okay, if I go ahead.
Brandon Cease, South Carolina, Chris Johnson, San Diego State, Keontae
Chris
Scott.
Johnson.
Huh? Chris Johnson?
Sorry, I'm speaking out loud here. I shouldn't.
No, that's fine. Chris Johnson is your pick here over
Well,
over
we're
Denzel
working
Boston
through the process, right? I think it's Chris Johnson's probably the pick if you want to go cornerback. I think. Who are the other receivers still available here? Look,
Denzel
I'm
Boston,
filtering.
Omar Cooper Jr., Zachariah Branch, Chris Basil.
How about Bell? Chris Bell is probably going to be there for
He's
sure.
way down.
If you feel like I think I put it there. If you feel like Bell is going to be there at 43, I think you wait. I love that's the profile. That's a very much like Romeo Dubs kind of profile where it's like.
Can we talk about him though? He also is injured. All right, so
Chris Bell?
yes,
He's also
tore his
a
ACL.
huge killer.
So Chris Bell also went to Louisville, which is funny because I didn't put 2 and 2 together until now. He reminds me a lot of Devontae Parker, no?
Ooh.
No, different profiles.
Yeah.
Parker was always like the long, kind of what we were talking about. Actually, Parker has more in common with Denzel Boston than he does with Chris Bell, where it's like that longer, taller, lanky, big radius frame. But
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. If,
Parker just became one-dimensional with his career with us in general.
I don't know if we're going to come to an agreement here on this one, boys, because
Chris Bell is big body, possession receiver, red zone threat.
Chris Bell's a reach here. We're not taking Chris Bell.
I get it. How about, so we were in an offensive line. What are the edges looking like right now?
Your number one, your linebacker at Anthony Hill Jr. We have Eli Stowers as a tight end still available.
Yeah, that's a little later.
Edge is Gabe Jacobs from Illinois. Jacobs from Illinois.
Okay, I think you got to go
TJ
cornerback
Parker.
here. And safety? How about safety?
All the safeties were the two guys.
The two guys are gone.
Were gone.
All right.
But you do have AJ Halsey from LSU.
What do you like
Might be
about
early here.
Chris
Zion
Johnson?
Young from Missouri still available on that?
Zion Young, Edge? No, he's been taken.
Who do you like? Why do you like Chris Johnson so much from San Diego
Me?
State? Yeah.
When you watch it, he plays very physical, like very, very physical. There's a lot of traits similar to Christian Gonzalez with the Pats, just not as big of a frame. I think Christian Gonzalez is like 6'2", 6'3", and is Colombian, which is wild. But yeah, just big, long, physical, can play press. That's what Chris Johnson's game is. Whereas if you watch him compared to Colton Hood is not as physical. And when he does get physical, there's a lot of it. It seems like he should be flagged more than he is when he plays physical. which I don't love. He doesn't turn his head when the ball comes his way down the sideline, especially when it's outside the hash. Doesn't really break on any in breaking routes. He's not breaking in on guys and trying to get physical. But he'll play you press and he'll kind of make it seem like he's pressed. But Chris Johnson is a plus athlete, arguably one of the better athletes, I think, from the defensive back class. And can play press.
That's kind of what I noticed from your big board is you were a big athletic guy. So you're definitely from the scouting tree here.
Yes. I love the athletes.
This is 30. What we're picking at.
We're picking at 30. We got to make a decision, boys. The clock's coming up.
Okay. How about Caden McDonald? Is he there?
Caden McDonald is still there. So not a need. Are we thinking about trading down here? And we don't have to trade down, but because we have to actually make the trade and let's not do that. But
I think if we had this many picks in year 2 or year 3, I think you trade down. I think right now you're trying to get as many bullets as possible. The question I would ask here is, because it's been such an issue and it's probably arguably the hardest department to fill in football, do you double down here? Do you go back in and you go for Max? I don't know how to say his last name, but the Arizona State tackle, if he hasn't been taken yet. I love him.
Ihina Core. Who is available for
tackle?
For tackle or guard?
Or guard. Tackle or guard.
So Ignore is still here.
Okay.
Okay. Is Pregnon still there? Oregon?
Pregnon for guard.
Emmanuel
is still here. And so is Gustanis from Texas A&M.
Okay.
I think, I think
it's rare, but if you double down, you get 2 first rounders on the line and you throw you're a stone's throw away from securing the right side of the offensive line for the next 5-10 years. Right? Like
I would say
when you frame it that way, it seems very interesting, especially, like I said, biasly as a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, for me, Pregnon is a little early there. Obviously, we can't go the other tackle.
Yeah.
I would go cornerback. I think
but they're all DB. Reaches. I would go corner if I loved Chris Johnson as much as he does.
He's a ball hawk. He's a boomer bust guy. He's a good of instincts.
I saw Omar Cooper Jr. make a bunch of plays in Indiana in big game after big game. You need a receiver. I like him better than Denzel Boston. So I don't know. We're not the expert. You are. So I'll give up my vote to you. Ryan and Alex can figure it out, but we got to make a pick. This is getting long.
If it's me, it's Chris Johnson.
Go Chris Johnson.
You said a corner. So there we
are. And if your scouts in the room are saying, or your offensive line coach is telling you that we need more help, then you go for any of those tackles.
So we're going to pick Chris Johnson. I'm just going to tell you, he's a 39th ranked guy, and we're picking at 30. Just so that you know. Done. Reach.
That's fine.
Sounds like Iganogany all over again.
Chris Bell there for wide receiver.
Chris Bell's way down the list, dude. Okay, don't even think about it yet.
Well, that's ESPN Analytics.
So here we are. Okay. This is why I didn't want to take your guard. Your tackle's still available here. Your Arizona State tackle's still available. Eli Stowers is available. Brandon Cease is still available. So, and then as far as receiver, though, we got some guys off the board already. Mm-hmm. And we only have our top receiver left is Zachariah Branch, Chris Brazel, Jermaine Bernard, Antonio Williams, Malachi Fields. Oh, no, Chris Bell's gone. Oh, no, Chris Bell's way down here. That's why. So
Chris Bell's a player, man. I don't know what that is about. This guy's an absolute stud. Big body.
He's down there because of the injury.
Ask him how many fantasy football championships he's won.
He'd be a top 50 pick. Yeah.
This is not fantasy football championships, okay? This is real NFL talent.
Yeah. All right, so what are we picking, guys? Let's get be a little quicker because we got to get to bed.
We did cornerback and we did.
Okay.
We went offensive line.
Picks best player available. Okay, stop with the needs.
Who's best player available there?
Hold on, this froze on me. Best player available, which we didn't discuss. Eli Stowers, tight end, Vanderbilt.
Feels the need.
Is it on his
former? Yeah,
it's on his big board.
Former quarterback, 6'4". He's a athletic. He's a weapon. He's a mismatch guy.
But Chris Bell's his number one guy for pick 43.
But he is not. He is not a pass blocker, and that's what we need right now.
So according to his big board, he wants Chris Bell.
I say Chris Bell. You're getting voted out right now. If Alex likes Chris Bell here.
I do like Chris Bell. And I like Chris Bell over Jeremy Bernard. But like I said, it's philosophical differences. If you feel like the injury history is a thing, you go for Jeremy Bernard, who I think is very, very underrated, even though he's coming from Alabama.
Yeah, but
it's a good player.
But your tackle's still here, and he was ranked for you ahead of all of those. So
yeah. Then if it's me, wait.
And we didn't stick to your board because
Max.
we didn't go with Boston. We went with Chris Johnson. So obviously now we're making moves. And Caden McDonald, we passed on him as well.
Well, I didn't re-rank each of the five sections. They're just five guys that I highlighted as my top five. I'll say that clearly. I would have definitely taken Chris Johnson over Denzel Boston. Definitely.
Okay.
In this case, if Max is still there at 43, which is wild, I think you take Max, and you're very happy getting a starting defensive back, day one corner. Oh wow, day one corner and 2 day one tackles. I think you come away pretty happy at 43.
I'm with you, and I'm voting in here. We're taking the tackle.
Okay,
let's go.
See you later, Austin Jackson. Take a hike.
Plug it in.
We're plugging it in. All right, there's a lot of picks here. So we did this already, and there's so many picks. I suspect we're either going to trade up or trade some of these picks to next year because everybody wants next year's draft. So here we are. Now we have defensive tackle Xavier Harris from Ole Miss. We have Bud Clark from TCU. We have Deshaun Stribling from Ole Miss. Mike Washington Jr., who is stellar running back, I will say. Ted Hurst, Georgia State, big receiver. We didn't take Chris Bell, but he is still available, guys. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
We have Jalen Kilgore, safety.
Then go Chris Bell.
Now we have so many picks, dude.
We need Chris Bell. We need a wide receiver. What else do you need? You've fixed your offensive line. You haven't looked at edge yet.
You said secondary was huge, and we have 2 safeties here.
Who? Bud Clark and
Jalen Kilgore.
I think you need a wide receiver.
Are we
taking the other issue is that we haven't taken an edge yet.
Yes. Because we loaded up on offensive line.
Your best edge at the moment is K'Ron Crawford, Jason Bram from Michigan, Joshua Joseph from Tennessee, and now we're reaching big time.
I say Chris Bell. That's my pick.
Well, based on my board, I'm taking the edge from Penn State. But if you're telling me that it's a reach and we're getting better quality,
is Dennis Sutton there?
You're saying Dennis Sutton?
Is he there?
His rank, according to this, is 96. We're at pick 75.
96. That's crazy.
So,
yeah, then it's definitely a reach. Then we go down, or we go up. Actually, is AJ Halsey still there, or he got taken?
Position?
Safety.
LSU.
No, he's been gone for a while.
He got taken. Okay.
The safeties available are Bud Clark, Jalen Kilgore, Zachy Wheatley, VJ Payne, Genesis Smith. We're going way down.
What are the best?
I think in this case you take the best edge available, or highest upside best player available, which could be Chris Bell, could be another receiver. You got to take a receiver at some point.
Okay, so I'm picking not Chris Bell, but that's fine. Are you taking Chris Bell? Because if you say yes, we're going Chris Bell based on 2-1.
At 73.
Yeah. I love Chris Bell.
75.
So yeah, we're gonna do Chris Bell here for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. We got Deshaun Stribling, Ted Hurst, got it. Oh, here he is, Chris Bell. Okay, 4th on the list. And draft a player.
Okay. Now we are at pick 87.
Now we're at pick 87. The best edge available. All those edges are gone. But you like Dennis Sutton, correct?
Yes.
So
upside.
I'm going to go ahead and pick Dennis Sutton. Is this another?
And this is with 87?
This is with 87. We're taking the 96 ranked player.
That's fine.
Ted Hurst, which is the big receiver. We're not taking him. We're not doubling down there.
Are we looking at quarterback? At 90.
Not until 90. At 90, yes.
We're at 90 right now.
Okay. So
wait, who did we take at 87?
Dennis Sutton.
No.
Oh, okay, we did.
We're still at 87 right now. Oh, we're taking.
We're still.
I say you take Dennis Sutton. You need an edge.
Okay, but how about Dominique Orange, Iowa State defensive tackle? How about Sam Hecht, center from Kansas State? How about
another?
Yeah, you're right.
I like the Sam Hecht pick.
I know you do.
But we already have 2 guys, so we're good.
It's a good pick. Best player available. That's what I'm saying.
No.
We could trade out, dude. We could absolutely trade out here.
Trade out. We already have 4 picks within like eight slots.
All right.
Go edge. You need edge.
So
Dennis Sutton.
Joshua Joseph is not a guy for you. Dennis Sutton is your guy. Is this another Chop Robinson that I'm about to pick?
Just because he has Penn State on him doesn't mean he's the same player.
Is
But
he?
he's
He's a
6'5",
freak athlete?
265. Yeah,
Okay.
6'5",
How many
265.
sacks did he have last year?
Look that up.
No, I'm looking it up.
That's an overrated. It's an overrated stat.
No, it's not.
He had
No,
8.5 in 24 and 8.5 last year. Those are really good stats. Don't be a box score watcher, Chris. Okay, quarterback pressures are where the money is at.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. I watched Jalen Phillips with a bunch of quarterback pressures and not get to the quarterback. I watched Chop Robinson not get to the quarterback. He has 8.5 in college. That's good. I'm okay with taking that at this point. You have to be able to produce as well. It's not just
Fair
about the
counterpoint.
size.
17
Okay.
sacks,
point.
96 pressures.
Enough. I'm okay drafting him. Reach. Here's another one. All right.
He recorded 45 pressures in 2025.
Now we're at 90. So
Okay.
you guys say quarterback here.
Well, let's look at who's available.
I don't mind picking a second receiver here. Ted Hurst is
Mike
a guy-
Washington got taken.
the-
Arkansas
the-
running back.
The
Yeah,
running
yeah,
back.
yeah.
How about Malachi Fields?
Taken.
So who are the Ted Hursts there from Georgia State?
So
Yep.
this is where you ask who are the best quarterbacks on the board. Is Nussmeier there? Is Aller
Everybody.
there?
Well,
Everybody's
list them.
still there or gone?
Nussmeier, Green, Beck, Aller, Peyton. They're all here.
I think you go Nussmeier here.
Ooh.
I like Nussmeier. LSU quarterback, can make the throws.
He was injured this year. He was supposed to be like a first rounder, right? Going
Yeah.
into this season.
But so was Carson Beck.
Well, whoever said that was a mistake. Taylor Green, that was like 2 years ago. Taylor
Gotcha.
Green, he's a freak athlete, but
He's a project.
He-
Nussmeier is a live arm. The thing about Nussmeier
he's
is
small
and he also
and he's not athletic.
he's a risky guy. What he likes to do is he likes to throw risky passes and stuff like that. That is somebody, but something different from Quinn Ewers. I like
Is he
Garrett
different?
Nussmeier.
I think it's going to be in that situation. It's more like I think Ewers is closer to Nussmeier
Yeah.
than he is to Aller. Whereas like in this case, and I'm not a huge Drew Aller fan, but I think the tools are very hard to ignore. Where it's big, strong, good arm action plus arm. This might be where you take Drew Aller, you put him behind Ewers, and then you have a very clear 1, 2, 3 pecking order. Even though you're going to say competition, but you have your pecking order at the position, and then you're just stockpiling and reloading that position, and hopefully one of those guys develops into something serviceable as a backup. But Aller Aller's another guy that was in the first round mocks as well, and then he just had a bad season.
He doesn't process the game speed
Yeah.
Okay.
the best that he could.
I'm just going to say this, and again, I'm going to get ruled out here. Best player available,
Is
and there's plenty of quarterbacks on the list. They're all there still, So we're talking about guys with size and athleticism. You have Taylor Green, you have Drew Aller, you have Cole Payton from North Dakota State. As far as like guys who have kind of performed in college that don't have all the attributes, you still have Nussmeier, you still have Beck there. So you got your pickings still available.
who's best available?
The receiver.
Hurst?
Ted Hurst.
Okay. Ted Hurst, Georgia State,
No,
underrated route runner, sneaky production.
He's also
Give me who are the other names under Hurst?
so Ted Hurst is also 6'3" and 185 pounds. Just so you guys understand what we're talking about. Scout over there.
Lanky.
He likes the size. Who else? The receivers: Ted Hurst, Deion Burks, Jacoby Lane, Josh Cameron, Kevin Coleman Jr.
Oh,
Jeff
Jacoby
Caldwell.
Lane. If Jacoby Lane is there, it's Jacoby Lane all day.
So the second guy,
That would be my pick. Again, it doesn't have to be the pick. But if that's the receiver group, I'm taking Jacoby Lane over Ted Hurst and those other guys, definitely.
okay, Jacoby Lane, 6'4", 200 pounds,
From?
USC.
USC.
Big guy.
Oh,
Big guy. big pedigree. He's his prospect grade is a 6.2, which will eventually be an NFL starter. Production was kind of down, but he ran a 4.47.
At 6'4"?
At 6'4". All right.
Do it.
Just for sure.
That's 90, right? That's our pick 90.
Yeah.
Pick 90.
Okay.
I think quarterback. I get it. I think it's a reach there. I don't
I
love
agree.
it.
The way this draft is going,
the
I think
pick.
it's a reach.
Ted Hurst, by the way, ran a 4.42. All right, here we go.
Make the pick.
We're taking Jacoby Lane.
All right. And our last pick of round 3, 94.
All right, Garrett Nuss, you want to take your quarterback? You want Drew Aller, correct? That's your pick.
If it's between both, I would probably take Aller. That's
Okay,
me.
who
my
would you take?
Now, before we go there and decide that we're going to take the quarterback, we have Sam Hecht still available. We have Deion Burks from Oklahoma still available. We have Demetrius Cronover, offensive. No, we're not doing that. All right, let's do it.
Let's talk about quarterback here. Who do you prefer?
Out of those two, I prefer.
Or anybody that's
out of
left.
those two, I prefer Nussmeier. If I'm looking at this board, I'm probably still. I wanted to lead to the athlete, so Green, Aller, and Payton are the 3 guys that I'm kind of eyeing in that mold, and they're still there available. I'm still leaving them there. If you want to be honest, I wouldn't pick a quarterback still, even though I've been saying quarterback. There's just so many other guys.
They've said that they want to add competition to the QB room. I think you.
So I'm not going to throw another name in. He has Drew Aller. You have Nussmeier. I'm going to pick between those two.
Okay, I have my pick.
Nussmeier.
I haven't. No,
What?
Drew Aller. And the reason
I
why
have
I'm going to say
questions
that
on the pick overall.
Okay.
the reason why I'm saying Drew Aller here is because we had the short little guy that can make risky throws, or that was smart. We want the prototypical big guy, and that is not who Quinn Ewers is. So go get Drew Aller, who is got the build, has the arm, and hopefully maybe can read defenses and learn that. So Drew Aller's my pick.
What's your question on the pick? You said.
Who are the top 3 guys in each of these positions at DB and tight end? Who are the top 3 names still available?
Okay. DB. So corner or safety, or doesn't matter.
Corner.
We got Ohio State's Davison Igbenogson. I hope I said that right. Will Lee from Texas A&M and Dalen Everett from Georgia.
Ooh, Dalen Everett.
Okay, Dalen Everett. Yes, very
Good player.
very interesting with Dalen Everett.
You also
Is
have
Michael Trigg still there? Tight end from Baylor.
Yes, he is available. You
What
have
about
Justin
Sam Roush?
tight end?
Yeah, Stanford.
No.
Okay, so then for me, it's Trigg and Everett is probably the competition. Trigg, Everett, and Aller. Get those 3 guys side to side, and then you let the room decide.
You want to pick quarterback.
I want Aller.
What's our next pick?
94.
I know we're not picking today, but 94 will be our next pick.
One. I'll tell you right now. All these papers.
I wrote it down. 94, 130, 151, 227, and 230.
130.
130.
So 130.
Yeah, so we're not
A
going
little bit of a gap.
There might be a chance that we don't get that quarterback. There might be that run on quarterback.
Yeah.
Let's get the quarterback that we want, and Drew Aller it is.
All right. What is the grade? This is what happens on ESPN when we draft our.
So our final draft. I forgot that we got our guy Mainoa. So that's already. I'm super pumped. Then we have Chris Johnson as our second first round pick. Then we have Max Ikanakor. Then we have Chris Brell. Then we have Danny Dennis Sutton, Jacoby Lane, Drew Aller, and our grade is a B+, boys.
Oh yeah,
That's solid. I'm running out the door excited if that's our draft.
I'm a little Chris Greer here. I feel Chris Greer in this draft, and this agrees with me. Reaches C- here, guys.
That's
C-.
fine. Go for the
Fulfilling
guys you
needs,
I
want.
think that's because of the second pick.
Fulfilling needs A+.
Oh,
Very Chris
oh.
Greer again. Position value, though, is an A. Capital management is a C. So B plus,
I'll take
it. It's fine. Probably would have liked to trade out, but we weren't doing trades at some point. That's a lot of picks in that same area that I don't think that necessarily will happen. But
I think if you're the receptionist at the Dolphins facility and you're sitting there on day one of rookie minicamp, and you see Frankie, Max, Drew Aller, and who else? Chris Johnson, and those guys walk in, I think you're pretty excited.
Those are big human beings.
Big
Chris
dudes.
Bell.
Yeah.
Here's
These are
what we
big
did,
human
though.
Yeah,
beings.
Chris, that's right. Chris Bell. Forgot. Yeah, you watch Chris Bell walking the door.
We doubled up on offensive line, so we're going to shore up the offensive line. We doubled up on receiver. We have to hit at least as a starter. Not maybe you're not getting your number one. You guys think Chris Bell's a number one. I do not.
We didn't say number one. We think he's a starter.
You guys reached over a lot of guys.
I think
so
you're getting a Y. You're getting a Y and a Z there. I don't
Yeah.
think you're getting an X, but you get a Y and a Z for sure. I think Lane plays the boundary. Bell can play all three and very likely play inside.
You're getting high upside on an edge guy there to fill the room, and then Drew Aller is a guy that you can mold hopefully and have him sit and watch, which is what the Green Bay way is. And he is very similar to, the athletic type of quarterback. He's not as fast as Malik Willis, but he is definitely an athlete and has all the tools. I would be excited. I just have this icky feeling that we just did a Chris Greer draft. Sorry.
Ouch.
I also just Googled my number one box to check for all quarterbacks is, did Drew Aller play baseball? And he did play baseball in high school.
Okay.
So
how many years did he start? How many years did he start?
Oh, I don't care
3?
if he started. That just means that he played growing up and he has the baseball arm action.
No.
That's all I care about.
How many years did he start
Penn
at Penn State?
I think 3.
Oh, no, I didn't.
At least 2. I want to say 3.
Because today in the clinic we had on, somehow it was a Cowboys game versus Tony Sperano's Dolphins, and your boy Brandon Marshall was there. Reggie Bush was breaking ankles. The offensive line was stellar, and I was just like, man, he actually built the team great. All we need to hit was the quarterback, and we never hit on that quarterback. And his rule for drafting quarterbacks had to start 4 years. He definitely started 3, but he did play 4 years. So if we're looking in that Bill Parcells type of structure, we built the trenches. We got some guys that can compete for wide receiver, and we're building with a quarterback. That's it. That's all we wrote.
Alex, it's been a pleasure, sir. Enjoy Knoxville, Tennessee, Rocky Top. We will definitely have you on the pod during the season, bring you back on so we can get your takes. And thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. This was great. It was a lot of fun.
All right, we'll do it again soon. Sayonara, suckers.
Later.